Well, hello, leader. I'm Nancy Grunnett with First Son Employee Assistance Program. Welcome to our Leadership Inspired podcast, where we help people be better at work. All right, well, welcome to today's show. We are very fortunate today to have Sandra Phillips join us. Hi, Sandra.
Hello, thank you so much for the invite.
Oh, we're just tickled. And everybody's in for a real treat. Sandra is here to tell us about the second annual, what's it called?
Black History Month Conference.
Black History Month conference put on by Transformation Training. So very excited, very timely, and I want to hear all about it. So let's start first with you. Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm a licensed professional counselor in the state of Georgia. I also provide services for Florida, telemental health in the state of Florida as well. Been in practice for myself for about 7 years, but I've been in the field for almost 20 years.
Oh,
So I
wow.
have credentials in both mental health and substance abuse. I'm a DOT SAP. So I perform assessment for anybody that has a job sensitive position. So if you test positive, you got to come my way or to another substance abuse professional before you can get back on the road.
Okay, very interesting. I was going to ask you what your specialties might be. So obviously substance abuse. Is there
Right.
other kinds of things you like to work with?
Um, substance my for me, I
Yeah.
have other contractors in my office that do a realm of other things, but most of my clientele are veterans, active duty military, or their dependents. So
Oh,
I'm a
really?
star
Wow.
behavioral health provider, meaning that I've taken like extra necessary training to become a star behavioral health on military lifestyle, their culture, and some of the common elements of mental health issues within our armed forces.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing what you do to support our military. That's
Thank you.
very special. Um, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Appreciate
I know many people appreciate that. So now let's move on and talk about what is transformation training. Tell us about transformation
it.
training.
Transformation Training Institute was kind of like born out of my private practice. My private practice is transformation behavioral health. And so in my private practice, I did the first annual Black History Month conference through my private practice. And I didn't know how it was going to go. I mean, it was just an idea that I had back in February, actually, of 2019. The first day of Black History Month, I thought it would be neat to post someone influential, African American, that gave to the field of psychology and counseling. And so
Interesting.
I posted it. I post one person, took a little screenshot offline, posted it, and I got so much, people didn't know, other clinicians didn't know. And so I think the first person I posted was a male. So I said, okay, the next day I'll do a female. So I did a female, got a lot, and he was like, can't wait to tomorrow. And I was like, I'm not thinking about doing it every day, but I end up doing it for every day of the month of February. And I was like, I didn't know, they didn't know. This wasn't, we weren't taught this in school. And so I said, I want to have some type of platform that we could honor, African Americans that's gone before us, that's opened the door and made a contribution to the field. So I started planning a Black History Month conference. Didn't know how tedious it was going to be, but it was certainly a blessing. We got big response. The place that we had the first year, Hilton Garden Inn, off of Stephen Creek. I mean, we were like was at capacity.
Really?
I kept getting back to the salesperson. Was like, "You sure? Can we get 10 more in? Can we get that?" And so we were at like capacity of vendors and everything. It was a great experience. The
Wow.
first time going around. So a lot of companies that we did reach out to wanted to donate, but they could only give to nonprofits. So when COVID came and things for me kind of slowed down a little bit, I had the opportunity to formulate my nonprofit, Transformation Training Institute, Inc. And so we are a 501c3 organization. So anybody that want to donate is tax deductible. And so we're excited about just having it available now so that we can
Wow.
get
Well,
more stuff.
congratulations on having all of that unfold the way it did, and people
Yeah.
just lining up to hear what everybody has to say, and all because you wanted to hold up and highlight some African American leaders
Right.
in the clinical, and specifically in the clinical field, right?
Right.
Uh,
And what got me was I thought, like, when I got the information, I was like, wow, I'm really out of touch because I didn't know. And so when all the other persons started making responses underneath the posting, then I realized that a lot of clinicians did not know. You know, if you didn't go to HBCU, one of our historical Black colleges, then those emphasis was not put on those persons. So
so
that's how I got it.
people were excited because this person changed my life, or this person influenced me um,
Right.
in this way, and okay, this person
Yeah.
was a role model for me and kept me
And
going.
some of them was like, I thought that, this person was the one that came up with whatever the theory or whatever it may be. They had no idea that it was an African American that actually introduced it and to the field. So it took me back to almost like when my kids were coming up in school, I would do projects with them for African American History Month. Every day we would do, like, we went through the alphabet. We'll do somebody's name start with the A, start with the B, so they can learn their history. So
Mhm.
one of the teachers assigned for them for the weekend, they can use anything that was invented by African Americans.
Cool.
And first, when they got that, I was like, okay, but it was very hard, and I didn't even know then how much African Americans had contributed to where we are now in society. So,
You had to dig for the information. Oh,
yeah, it was just like once you start coming up with different things, some of the things I already knew because I remember vividly one of the big things was my son wanted to meet one of his friends at Chuck E. Cheese's. And I told him that it would be impossible for us to go because of the homework assignment. And so I had to explain to them who Garrett Morgan was. He invented the traffic light. So if I can't use traffic lights, then mom can't drive. And so he was like, well, that's no fair. I was like, you got to take that up with your teacher on Monday. But I'm just trying to help you with, what we're doing. So I just try to find a fun way to introduce all these people because a lot of times our young African American brown boys and girls, when they look at success, they see a lot of Michael Jordan, which he's great at success and he gives back, but they look at sports figures. But
sure.
they need to look at the everyday person that's helping us move along. And so I
Absolutely.
just think that that's what introduced it to them.
And that is so powerful because I'm sure there are times or days where and this is a human thing where you're just feeling down, you feeling like you can't, and then you come across something inspirational, something that a role model is doing or keeps doing no matter what, and breaks through,
Right.
and it really works. It really is transformational. So
Absolutely.
I love that
Absolutely.
origin story of how the conference came to be.
Yeah.
This year's conference, I went online. Wow, you actually have like breakout sessions. Tell us a little bit about the speakers and the sessions that now are unfolding because it's just
Um,
huge.
I am so fortunate. It was almost like my wedding when everybody kept saying yes. When I only thought a couple of people was gonna say yes, so I like over asked people, and then I ended up with so many. So, one of the speakers that I first got in touch with was Mr. Mark Sanders, out of Chicago, Illinois. So I had sat in, one of his workshop sessions at NADAC national conference.
What
So
is
I was in
NADAC? What is NADAC?
NADAC is the National Association for Addiction
Oh,
Counselors.
okay, okay.
Okay, so I was at their conference and I was in his class, and all you could see going up was you're the best speaker of the conference. Really enjoyed it. He kept our attention. It was just great. And so he had posted his like information, like, if you want to get other, things or find out. So I was like, okay. this is a long shot. So I sent him a nice email, told him about the conference and everything, and he replied back. So then
Wow.
I sent him a more informal, and told him about the honorarium fee that would be associated if he would participate. So surprisingly, he sent back to me that he declined the fee only if I promised that I would keep working at the
Awesome.
conference to make it become a national event, that I would just
That,
keep working year after year. So that kind of like, was an inspiration too. Like this is something that people see, that's needed, not only in our community, but other community that service our community, so that they can
yes.
learn about us, our uniqueness, what our needs are, and relevant things for the African American community.
Wow.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
that, yes, that generous kind of gesture makes me
Because
excited,
he's a well-renowned
Yeah.
speaker. He
Yeah.
speaks on a national, he speaks in other countries. So for him to, give his time to a little conference
Right.
started in Augusta, it's great. And I
So,
really appreciate
so just to kind of as of a side note, this is going to be a virtual event, right?
it. Right. It's going to be virtual.
I just wanted to clarify that for the listeners because you were saying a conference in Augusta, but it's going to be virtual. So anybody,
Right.
and we'll talk at
It's,
the end about how people can
yeah, it's going to be a virtual event, with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
We really want to see each other, but we look forward to seeing everybody in 2022. But for 2021, we just want to keep everybody safe, but still be able to come together and give some great information and training about African Americans.
So what is he going to be speaking on? And
Mr. Sanford, he's going to be a part of the breakout session. So all of the breakout sessions are geared towards trauma, treating African Americans in trauma. So we will have different ones that will be doing different things in regard to it. But I want to make sure I get the name of his session right on addiction. So Mr. Sanford's sessions is uh, breaking intergenerational patterns
oh,
of
okay.
trauma and secrets and
Oh,
addiction.
wow.
So, I mean, the way he unfolds it, and especially because he speaks from a personal perspective. Like this is not something somebody shared with him or he read in a book. He was able to take the knowledge he learned through the books, but also because of his own personal experiences in his family and self, to be able to give this great insight to what a person goes through, what gets them to into addiction, and so what keeps them there.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't talk about things that happen in our family because it might be taboo or whatever it may be. A lot in the African American culture, which is getting better, was what goes on in household stays in the household. So some things you just didn't talk about,
Right.
and certainly not mental health or, addiction. Because if somebody's getting up going to work, then they can't be an addict. They can't,
Right.
before, we didn't know about a functioning addict. So he gives a great insight into addiction and trauma. Because with what's going on now with the pandemic, the racial tension, while a lot of businesses are suffering, one that's not is our spirit stores, our liquor
Oh,
stores.
yes.
Their sales are up. So that's telling us that people are coping differently, not appropriate coping. They're doing, drinking.
Yes. I remember this was early on when quarantine began. It was probably May period. There, this was a video that came across my feed in social media, but somebody picked like a random neighborhood and went around with a phone camera and videoed everybody's recycling bins in that neighborhood. Every single recycling bin had like bottles of wine, beer cans. It was amazing how many empty alcohol containers were in that one neighborhood.
Right.
That's right, because people, they're bored, they're at home, they're shut in, they're scared, they're disconnected. And so, yeah, I thought that was really powerful. So he
Right.
workshop is going to be very, very timely.
Right. So that would be great.
So you
So,
have, go ahead.
go ahead. No,
I
go
was going
ahead.
to ask, you, there's the tracks that, like, you have a spirit, tell me this tracks. There's a spiritual track. There's there's 3 or 4 tracks, right?
Right. It's 5 different tracks
Oh,
where
five.
we,
Okay.
5 different tracks. So we've taken several different populations in the African American community. So we have counseling African American youth and talking about trauma. When we talk about generational, we also can have like a legacy of trauma. So sometimes we pass down the hurt.
Yeah.
Without we don't have to sit our children down and say this is this or this. They just by social learning look at how we respond to different environments and different situations that kind of like teaches them uh, what to do and what not to do, who to fear, who not to fear. So we got a great presenter out of Maryland. Her name is Lisa Savage. She's an LCSW. So she'll be presenting in that one. And what makes her so unique is that she has one of the largest private practices, the largest in the United States.
Wow.
And she has her private practices in Delaware. And I like the diversity when you see like the pictures of them standing out in front of the practice on the step. There's diversity, you know, African Americans, Hispanics, white, it's a diversity because we've learned that people, when they're going to share things that are intimate about themselves or things they don't really understand and they want somebody else to understand, they try to seek out persons they fit closely to, whether
Sure.
it's age or race, whatever it may be. They want to find someone
Right.
that best is suited for them, and that's what they should do,
Right.
which is great. So she'll be covering the youth, and then we're blessed to have Dr. Stephen Nifke Jr. He's known as the Afrocentric psychologist, and he'll be coming from Louisville, Kentucky. So he'll talk on the perspective of trauma and African American males. And the title for his is that I'm not angry, I'm hurting. Because a lot of times, not with just African American males, but a lot of males, when they don't know what to do with those emotions, sometimes it comes out aggressively.
Mhm.
So he's going to be able to share that with us. And then from Georgia, Miss Ruby Blow, do females. And, through the election and everything, people talked about how African American females was like the backbone to the Democratic Party. Well, we've been the backbone of our communities forever, and backbone for a lot of different things. So the title of hers is "What Happened When the Backbone is on the Verge of Breaking." If we're holding up everything, what happens when we're having some difficulties? So she's going to share that. And then the one that you mentioned, the Christian perspective, um, Dr. Jennifer Shepherd Payne out of California. She's a professor in California. She'll be presented. She's also an ordained minister. So she's going to do treating trauma from the Christian perspective. And her subtopic will be when trauma meets faith, who wins?
Mm.
And so we're just, excited about the group. Everybody's been like, I want to take all of them,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
record them and all those different things for it. So that's how we'll end the day in the breakout sessions, but we'll get back together and give out a couple of door prizes and different things. But the whole day is going to be great. We'll start with a celebration. So I'm not sure if you heard of Davidson Fine Arts
No.
School that's
Mm-mm.
here in Augusta. Well, it's
Mhm.
one of our magnet schools that kind of have persons that either dance, sing, photograph, all the different arts. So I heard this young lady last February for Black History Month. I went to an event at Humana Treehouse, and this young lady sung our national Black anthem.
Hmm.
And I thought it was an adult. I did. And so I tracked the person down, because I wanted them to be able to sing the song to open up the conference. Little did I know it was a high school student.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so she'll be
Talented.
yeah, she'll open up with a song, and her accompanist person I'll play the piano for. He's also in high school. He goes to Thompson High School. So we're looking forward to just having a great time on that
Wow.
day.
Well, so well, go back and so are all the different tracks going to be recorded? So if somebody wanted to go back later on,
I'm thinking so. I'm talking me myself. I'm very IT challenged. I'm very challenged, but I have an IT coordinator that's working. That's going to be over the platform we'll use. So when we have our next meeting, I'm going to bring that up to her
oh,
because we
good.
had just said that we were going to not only tape, but we were going to do Facebook Live for the moment in Black history, because that's like, a 30-minute segment, moment in Black history. And we're happy that AARP Georgia is sponsoring that segment. And
Okay.
so we will highlight some influential person in African American clinician. But the big part of it goes to honoring and remembering Representative John Lewis, that not too long passed. So we'll take a look at his life and his contributions to us all. And so we'll have that segment.
Wow, very good.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very enriching event. Who
Right.
who are you targeting as people that might be of interest to attend? Like who should attend?
Any and everybody can attend. It's open to everybody. One of the things when I started writing up the missions and what Transformation Training Institute was going to be about, it was all about the knowledge. I remember my librarian when I was in elementary school, and I guess they passed it on to all the librarians. I remember she always said you can go anywhere you want to go through a book. You can travel through a book, and that education was the key. So I'm thinking for us to bridge the gap, the diversity gap, the multicultural gap, I think it's going to come through education. So our initiative is to transform and inspire through education for positive change.
Oh,
And
that's great.
so this is our big event, but we're also going to be throughout the year be offering trainings for persons that request it, agencies that request it, whether it's churches, schools, a civic organization, whoever would like to, and we would set it up where they would just simply make a donation, and we would provide training in multicultural and diversity issues, mental health, and substance abuse.
Okay.
So we're
Wow.
looking forward to doing that. I've done one already. I did one in with a group in Washington. So a lot of them, were having difficult time themselves for because of what's going on. So she just wanted me to, the director got in contact and wanted me to just do something as far as team building and motivation to just like give like a reset.
Hmm.
And it was a great time. They were able to express what they were going through, not as a clinician, but as a person. And I
Right.
think they needed that because a lot of times we're helping other people, but who are helping us. So it was good for them to reflect on what exactly they were feeling. And so that
Yes.
was a good session.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a couple times you have a couple of different people sponsoring or organizations sponsoring this event, this conference. Who are they all? I'm sure you want to give a shout out to them.
Give a shout out to Care Source, Georgia, Care Source, Georgia, Mary Group, Georgia, Clinicians of Color, LLC, First Son, EAP. Glad you all came on board. NAMI is a part of sponsoring Lighthouse of Augusta. Thank you, Tina. She's great in going through the community, seeing what she can do and help. So, Lighthouse, this is your second time being a part of the event. Dr. Janet office, he's a psychologist in Augusta with Georgia Psychological and Counseling. He sponsored Miss Tiffany Luke with the Cookie Release Company. So we're just happy with all of our sponsors that are provided. Behavioral Health Link, they are a sponsor. So we're happy with everybody and
Wow.
all the
Yeah.
presenters that said yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm attending and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Where can people go to find out more about it and register?
If you want to register, just go to www.transformationtraininginc.com, and that's Inc. INC. www.traininginc.com, and that'll be the website. You can look up things about Transformation Training Institute, as well as there is a donation button. So you can register on the Black History Month Conference 2021. But if you would like to just be a supporter to the cause, we would greatly appreciate that. But I did want to mention another segment if I could.
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. One of the other segments that I'm thinking is going to go great. I didn't know exactly how it was going to turn out when I envisioned it. But one of the segments we're going to have is a town hall. And the town hall is going to address the disparities in the African American community. Let's talk solutions and the negative impact on mental health. And so when we talk about disparities, we're talking about the mental health, physical health, economics, social justice, and education. And so for education, we have a professor out of Fort Valley State College, Dr. Tamara Payne. She will represent that part of the discussion and segment. For economics, we have Ms. Deshawn Kendrick. She represents the 93rd district in Atlanta. She's a representative for the state representative. So she'll do economics. She's great with, I follow her on LinkedIn. I've gotten great advice, about how to save money, different things to do. So she'll do great with that one. Mental health, we have a doctor from Augusta University Health System. That's Dr. Vanessa Spearman. So she'll talk about African Americans and some of the limitations and barriers associated with mental health. And then for medical, be Dr. Stanner out of Morehouse School of Medicine will represent physical uh, health of African Americans. And we're happy to have her. And then for social justice, Mr. Ted Oliver. And Mr. Tolliver, I'm sorry I said Oliver, but it's Tolliver. I just want to give a big shout out to him because even when I was a graduate student at Troy, and I did a program for a recovery month out at one of the parks. He was a state representative. He came and he spoke at our event. It wasn't a huge crowd or anything, but he took the time and he came out and he spoke to that celebration. And so I was glad to be able to reach out to him for this event. And he said yes, because he's done a lot. He has a lot of experience. In 2009, President Obama appointed him to be our 48th U.S. Attorney General for the Southern District. So he will represent well for social justice. So I'm just excited.
You have really lined up some dynamic and influential speakers.
Right. It is really
Wow.
great.
And everything, it's like full circle. I mean, you're covering everything, from youth to men and women and spiritual and financial, social. I mean, geez,
Yeah.
amazing. This is going to be quite an event. Wow. What else? I mean, I don't want to skip any other thing.
Like I said, we will give out, we're going to give out door prizes. A lot of time when you ask, people to sponsor an event, it's one thing when they can come set up their table, give out flyers, or have their information put into, the bag to give out to people. But when you're having a virtual conference, then it's like, okay, what is the benefit of doing a virtual conference because they're not going to be there to engage with them. So we really have to start thinking what can we do? So we came up with doing the scavenger hunt. And so the scavenger hunt means that on all of our sponsors' webpage, there's a question or something we're going to ask about it, whether it's who's the CEO or, First Son EAP or who's the president of NAMI, whatever it may be. They're going to have to go to all those individual pages to get the answer. And once they're completed, then they're entered into the drawing.
Okay.
Because when we had our conference in person, we had like the little, somewhat look like a bingo,
Yeah.
and they would go from table to table, and they would get like a little sticker on it before they could enter. They had to be full to enter the drawing. So we had to come up with a creative way to still get exposure to our sponsors, because we do
Okay.
want persons to utilize them for their support.
Wow. That's really very forward thinking, you know, because I at work first on the EAP, we oftentimes sponsor events, and you're right, at a virtual platform, there's little to help engage the people that are, you know, wanting to come by and say, what's this all about? So thank
Right.
from a
And my
sponsor's
IT
point of view,
person,
thank you.
yeah, she is so, my IT person is so like, I mean, her mind, creative mind. So even in the virtual exhibit hall, the way she has it set up, she actually have like tables. You can see tables in the exhibit halls, and then they have our sponsors logo on top of it. So
Okay.
once they click the logo, then it goes to their website page. So
Wow.
we really tried to, think, how can we, help our sponsors by helping us, because they helped us. And so that seemed like a great way.
What's the date of the conference?
February the 27th.
Okay, February
We will
27th.
start off at 8:45 and end at 5:30, but
Okay.
there is breaks in between there, and there is a 45-minute lunch break about halfway. That'll be, of course, on your own,
Okay.
for it. But we're just looking to have a great celebration, getting to know and learn things about ourselves and each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You mentioned it earlier. I had the exact same experience when I went online to register. I couldn't pick. I just was like, oh, I want to go to both of these. Which one?
right,
You know, which one? Oh, I guess I'll pick this one. But no, I want that one. So yes, you have
right,
a nice lineup of I think that are going to be enriching programs,
right.
and interesting too.
Right. So I have this each one reach one campaign that I've
What
started.
is say it again? What's it called?
Each one reach one
Okay.
campaign, where I'm challenging African American clinicians, of color, to reach out and invite another clinician that's non-African American to come to the conference. If you come to the conference, you got them to come to the conference, send me an email, and you all will be entered into a drawing for that campaign.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm at
Each one reach
Sandra
one.
at transformationtraininginc.com.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right. Good stuff. Good.
yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, I ask this of all the guests of the podcast, and the question is this, kind of switching gears a little bit. At First Son EAP, our tagline is "We help people be better at work." And so I'm just of interest. I always ask all of our guests, what is
Mhm.
one thing as you look back at your career that has helped you be better at work? What would you say?
Um, I think what's really helped me the most be better at work, and I'll just use like my experiences since March. What has really shown me what I practiced before then really came into play. When my workspace, whatever my workspace is, wherever my workspace is, I make it comfortable for me, because I know that if I'm surrounded by things that I like, colors that make me feel a certain way, or whatever it is, then I can be at my best. I can be more effective with the persons I serve. So I would just say that, for me, is being authentic, being comfortable, and you're just going to flourish in that setting. A lot of time we decorate our offices and things for our clients or something. What would they like? What would they think? But guess what? They're going to feed off of us. We have to look at ourselves. We're kind of like projectors. So what are we projecting out? So if we project that sense of warmness, of whatever, then that's what they're going to capture. So it's not trying to get the best color. Let me see what Pinterest say will work best for my clients. No, you have to be genuine to yourself and be surrounded by those things to make you comfortable.
And that's like the epitome of bringing yourself to your work. You know,
Right.
you literally are in all aspects.
Absolutely.
You are to the work that you do. Oh, I love
We all have those tedious days, you know, and
Oh,
so
sure.
it would be great just to, you know, glance over and see like a picture or a saying or something just to remind you to hang in there. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have a little scented candle that I keep. I never ever burn it, but I like the way it smells. And every once in a while, I'll just grab over and smell it. And it's
Right.
the smallest little thing, but it puts a kick in my step. You know, I just
Right.
the way it smells, and you know, so I love that. That's
Yeah.
a good kind of way to bring yourself to your work. All right.
I
Well,
don't know if we mentioned that the
no.
conference is free.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's wrap everything up in kind of a nice bow. It is free event. The date is when? What day is the date?
February the 27th from 8:45 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. It's virtual and it's on a Saturday. So
Awesome.
everybody can attend.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
And I look forward to seeing you in a little over a month. And because I will be there, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Well Hello Leader podcast. Now it's your turn to help someone else be better at work. Be sure to check out all of the services we offer employees, along with coaching and training options for leaders. You'll find our website at firstsoneap.com. On social media, you can find First Son EAP on Facebook, follow First Son EAP on Instagram and Twitter, and be sure to like and subscribe to our First Son EAP YouTube channel. Take care and have a great day.